Okie dokie, hello, Strum355. It's me, Big Benito. See right there? That's me. Right underneath my image of right where my hand is placed, my two hands. You can see my little icon. So here's that video I was talking about, and here, that way I can hear myself. So I'm going to cover two things. One is just kind of go over what's going on with GIMP, the way I handle it, and the other thing is I found the code for that alters the gold block as well as some other blocks here, but I found the code that allows you to set that specularity color, and you're definitely right, it's in the code, and I found it in the composite2 file, as you can tell. Well, I guess the first thing I should start with is the GIMP thing and then walk into the code thing. So I already got Minecraft running. And GIMP. But say to open up a resource. So this is some of the files I've been working on. As you see at this point, let's see, green. So some of these are green, and then a lot through here, none of them have been altered yet. But everything down here, I have made stuff with it. And for each major block, like what is it, railroad detector, had the GIMP file for that. If I open that up, you see there's the project thing. So there's of course the image, which doesn't really need to be in the file. It's just there so I can see this thing right up here. So this is the original specularity map from Crazy Bump, and well, I want it green. So what I do here is I have another layer. Remember, I don't want to alter these files. I want to keep them original. So for the most part, what I do is do layers effect. So here what I have is a layer that's going to add an effect to the specularity. And the main thing is turn it green. And as you can see with let me turn that off. There's green, and then there's white parts. Well, where I would want something to be shiny. So it says the metal rails, and I made the detector shiny because I just was doing stuff. And the way I have it, so as you know, the green is a channel for specularity that gets activated or amplified when the weather is turned on, the rain. And then the red is for the persistent base specularity. Now, instead of green and red, what I have is green and white. And the reason for that is white is because white holds red, green, and blue, so there's red in the channel when I have a white thing drawn. If I had it just red, if I had it red, then what would happen is one of two things. Either you have it go to green to red, but what happens as a result, it's kind of like what is it? You kind of misguess something or misthink something, but when you go to green to red, then this area no longer is green, so it won't have that the effect of turning wet when it gets rained on. So you want to keep the green there. You want to be able to add the red. So what I did with the gold block here is just that. Let me turn this. There's a green layer. Is this in the right order? Yeah. I have it in different layers. Blah 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 blah. Let me swap this, see if I still get the same results. Multiply. Yeah, I still get the same results. Which multiplication's commutative, so yeah. Of course, I'd get the same result. So I'm not prepared at all for this video. Been working. Where was I going? Oh yeah, so there's the specularity map for the gold block. and I do a layer effect such as to make it green. Now, I was talking about how there's the mode and there are filters. So I'm applying a layer effect to this specularity. I want it to be, I only want the green channel. Of course you could play with the channels and things, and there's a different tab for that somewhere around here. Let me make this, there we go. But I don't want to play with the channel because I just like, I prefer playing with the layers. So I have it green, and if I want to turn it green, one way to do that is the multiply mode. And the idea with that is, if I don't know how much you do programming with images, but what essentially happens is when a layer gets multiplied onto another layer, each pixel is the values it has are multiplied to the values beneath it. So say if you have a what is it? Say a 50% gray pixel times a 50% gray pixel. Well, it's scaled on a ratio of 0 is black and 1 is all the way white. So that's 0.5 times 0.5 equals 0.25. So it usually makes the image darker, but it's also a good way to use the grayscale to move, to kind of alter images around. And one of them is a green channel, which is all the reds are times 0, all the greens are times 1, and all the blues are times 0. So that removes, does this move my hand correctly? Yeah, my face is flipped correctly. So what happens is it eliminates the red channel and eliminates the blue channel. And that's how you get it to pure green. Now another thing is addition, as you can see here. This is a red channel. And so this is how I was describing the comment before, where you have a green multiply against the original specularity, and then you add red to it. Now this is full green and red, so it's the same as if it was just the regular white image, because as so far we've determined, and so far through the code, I haven't seen where blue matters at all, so we don't need to worry about the blue channel. But this is the same thing as just a white image. So it's, what is it? Basically it's going to make it pretty shiny, but changing the opacity is like changing the percent. There's 0 baseline reflection all the way to 50 to 100%, and then that's that idea. But this is only a technique I don't really use because it makes more layers and more memory than I really need. So here I just have it so it's green, and then I paint on white. I could paint on red, but the reason I don't do that is you can see here as it goes yellow, and yellow against green isn't the easiest to see, so I have white and green, which the blue helps make it more distinct, visible, or helps me see it, so I just kind of paint it, you know, click, shift, hold shift, and make a straight line most of the time. If I really wanted to get fancy, I would use vectors, so I could precisely have everything calculated and move and adjustable if we were making our own textures, but this is me making enhancements to the R3D textures. Now, from what I understand, most of the shaders usually use 128 by 128. And that's what I've been using. I usually like that texture resolution, but sometimes I want to go higher. And, well, I've gone higher, not really an issue. I have a GTX 970 WindForce, so my graphics memory can handle the bigger textures. I don't know about other things, other computers, or if it's really, really supported with the shaders, because sometimes you'll read through the files and it's expecting 128, but it seems to do just fine, so I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of showing off. But say you do this, you get your specularity and whatnot that you want, or the way you think you want it. You go to your file, and since everything is in the same, you have all the images you want saved in this GIMP project file. You have to export each combination of frames independently, so always make sure you do the export as, just so you can, here, let me bring this over. just so that you can, select it. It bugs me that it always goes back to the top. But unless you know you're saving, you keep making changes to the specularity map or something, like how I would change the gold block to become red. I did that just to test some things out. And yeah, since I was just playing with that, I kept exporting without needing to do the export as to change which file I'm exporting to. But these are all PNGs and whatnot, just in a special type of folder with a special file to let GIMP know how to handle this all. So yeah, now for the normal map, those are a bit more complicated. So I'm not making custom normal maps at this time. I do hope to do so when I make my own custom texture packs, but I don't really have any ideas of what to do that's special or unique. But here's the normal map from a Crazy Bump. Now, at the time, I was an idiot and I didn't know that how to go and change the setting and add the height map as an alpha channel to this. Plus, with something this pixelated, Crazy Bump has a hard time actually doing a good, precise, or accurate job of height map and shaping and all that with these type of textures. And it's not like these are the fused maps, and it's expecting you to put in an image like a rocks where that has shadows on it, so it's able to kind of figure out what's going on. But you kind of have an artistic version of that here, but it's just too simplified, especially with the what is it called? What pack is it called? Windows, where are you? Options, resource, specs. The bit more specs is a bit more cartoony, but I like the Grudge pack because I like how it has this noise in it, like dirtiness in it, roughness in it. Kind of makes it a bit more natural to the eyes. That's why I went with a real 3D in the first place, was because it was my favorite at the time when I started this project. And 12 minutes. I'm making this too long. I always make it too long. I always keep talking. I type too much too. Anyways, but yeah, that's just me complaining about how the Crazy Bump has a hard time making normal maps with these type of images, textures. So I make my own height map. Now, there's various ways to do that. Now, the way I have it is, as you can see, I kind of did it, just drew boxes. But the idea is, so white stands for it's all the way up top, up high, and it stands for like 1, or I don't know. It's all the way up, and then as you go down to black, that's the very bottom. And as you can see here, I have the rails all the way up. What is it? Let me see this. The rails all. Okay, so yeah, the rails and the background area around the other things all the way up, and the wood, as you can see, is the furthest down, or the darkest areas, whereas the center of the button and the redstone around the detector are different layers of gray that slowly stack on top of the wood, but it's still darker than where the rails are at, so it's below the rails. But the alpha channel used for the normal map is what's used for the height map for the parallaxing textures, or what gives it depth. So I have to convert this, which is visible, easy to read, to wow, you really can't tell. Let's see, edit, preference. Interface. I can never find this. Why can I never find this? I'm looking for the thing that lets me. Oh, there it is. Dark checks. Okay, now you can see that the checkerboard pattern that shows you, it's the background or what's behind the image. It's the default of how the you know, the programs nowadays, how they like to do their stuff. So okay, so if I have nothing here, you can see this is just what the default look, and then you put this on top, and this is clear. So the way I turned it to alpha is, so if I get a channel I like and I want to do a change to it, like say turn the darkness to alpha or whatever, I right click and duplicate layer. Now I'm not naming these very well, but I find them rather simplistic. But there we go. We want to go to colors, and we go to color to alpha. Now automatically it's going to choose white. We want black. Okay. And there we go. Now we got it. We swapped the dark values to something to alpha channel. And now this area that was kind of gray looks gray now, but it's actually white. It's just that it's transparent. That's what's making it gray. So if I get the dropper here, where are you, Mr. Dropper? There's Mr. Dropper. Okay, we get a color. Let me bring this down. So the color is the same as, see, luminance. What is value? Oh, that's what it's called. Value is all the way at 100%, blah, blah, blah. Everything's at 100%. It's just that it has alpha that's kind of making it dim or gray. And now, why do we want, so we have this map for alpha, and it's all completely white. And the reason I have it like that is because we're going to do the exact same thing we did kind of with the specularity, is we want to control these channels. Now we want to preserve the RGB, the red, green, blue channels, because that's what tells the computer what is the normal vector at each point, like, you know, surface, edge, whatever, the normal vector, the 3 different values that tell us its normal vector. And that's just for the normal map, so that it can calculate shadows on all that. But to get the height, we want the alpha channel in. And so, I don't need this anymore. Delete, because I already have it. So it has an alpha, you have to right click sometimes and add alpha channel if it's like a JPEG or something, or it didn't have an alpha channel, but as you can see I already have it. I can't really do anything. I can remove the alpha channel, but you want to add the alpha channel, and we're going to have it go to multiply here. And just like we did with how we had it, the green layer, like we did over here, where the red gets times 0, the green gets times 1, so the green doesn't get changed, but the red gets turned to 0 or is erased. We got something similar going on here, where because the color of this layer is white all the way, everywhere, the red, the green, and the blue channels are not affected. However, the alpha is changed and affected. Here, this image has no alpha. It has no alpha now, but so we want to change that and say maybe there's a part that is 50% down as far as the POM effect allows. And so the way we have that is half gray, and then we do the black to alpha, and then it's 50% alpha. And then when we go to multiply this map, as you can tell, the normal map to the height map we made, it causes the alpha channel to be, which is fully set to 1 or all the way to opaque, to this new alpha-based height map, and makes it so that the alpha of the resulting image is what we want. It's both a normal map and it's a alpha-based height map. And now, man, I made that stupidly long-winded, but that should fully explain that. And then you go to export as, and make sure you do N for normal and S for, as you can tell, not this one, A lot of the times I have a bunch of different normal maps, and sometimes rather than overwrite one, I just rename them like with two ends, just so that the computer skips it and goes to the newer one I make. I do that sometimes, so if you find a bunch of those, ignore it. So that's that. Now I'm going to talk about the, I should probably, oh wait, okay, it's not recording the game sound, but I'm still going to lower it so I can hear myself. Done, done, back to game. So right now I have the SUSE 10.2, or yeah, SUSE 10.2 preview 1 on, because I was earlier was playing with the palm effect, so it's nice and smooth. Yeah. But so I was testing, trying to get the specularity you're talking about to work, and I did find the effect. So options, shaders. So with the continuum one, I believe this one. Yeah, okay. So here I did not change the color effect, and as you can tell, when it reflects off yellowish. There we go. See, yellowish. And I thought it might be sampling the color of the texture, but it's not. It's actually hard coded into the shader. And so if I go back to the SUSE 10. Whatever this is, which I modified to have the code to make it red, done. Back to game. As you can see, it's red now, and I was looking around, and why is this not changing back? Okay, well, it's making me jump. I tried to do the redstone to see if the redstone did it. Nope, it's doing white. Emerald, I could not really, it looks white to me, but the gold block was, I couldn't tell because the specularity was funky. Time set 0. And so what I did was change the texture of the gold block to this red thing. So let me go to GIMP and fix that. Let me remove that. Oop. So now it's back to normal. And what I did with this is I just changed the hue, which, if you don't know, this little thing right here is the hue. Saturation, whatever this sets to, the value is whatever this was. All it does is change the hue, which is really, really nice and simple if you want to change the color of a gold block. Export file. Export, and see it says export to, and then the file it's going to export. Since this is where I want to go, the texture file, I click that. It's nice and simple. Got options, resource packs, go away, done. Resource packs, forgot what I was doing. Done. I am not editing this video at all. It's not because I'm a lazy, it's because I don't have video editing software that is more than 30 days or worth a darn. So as you can see, the specularity is still red from that last thing. Now if I change it, options, resource, not what I meant, shaders, continuum, clickety click, done, done, done. And now it's back to the normal yellow. And I wonder what the palm looks like on this. Yeah, it's still that low sample. I can fix that now that I figured that out. I just recently watched that palm fix video, derpity derp derp. So let me explain that whole thing. So both Continuum and the SUSE Complete, you can find this in the Composite 2, and I just looked for gold after I found out, like I first went looking through all the specularity map stuff, then I found that they have gold, they make the object called gold block, iron block, whatnot, you know, to make it easy for people to understand what it is. So of course that's what I looked for. And so what I looked for was the if and then blah 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 gold block. You know, if it's this object or the pointer to this object, if you know your code, then ta-da, here's the thing. So there's your base specularity, tells you how shiny it is. It's a 1. and then specular color, and it's so it gives a vec3. I just assume it's a vector for holding vectors. Gives you 3 things. Now that gives me an idea that it means red, green, blue, or the RGB channels. That's the word I want. So red is 1, which gives me a good idea that it's all the way on. And then green is this, which I assume makes it yellow. And then blue is this all the way off. So what I did in the other one is I got rid of the 3 and added 2 zeros. And yeah, it went pure red, as you saw. So like I can demonstrate that now. Options, shaders. Done, back to game. So it's red. Let me go here. Options. You can still see it. I don't know. Oh, you can see the red outline at least. I have 2 different monitors. This one's actually able of doing. Okay, pay attention to the block. Did I change anything? No. I'm an idiot. There we go. There we go. 3. And then I'm going to save that one. Then I'm going to go back. Okay, now look at the block. See? Fixed it instantly. Done, done, done. But I don't know how well your monitor is, but I have a color accurate one, thankfully, so I can see things. So gold now. And now if I switch options, shaders, it'll stay gold. Because they're both set to the same value. And that should explain just about everything that we were talking about. Done, done, save and quit. And hopefully that's helpful to you. And explains, I think, everything I need to cover. So yeah. Sorry for not editing the video because I don't have video editing software. Okay, that's enough of this. You have a good morning, I guess? You'll see this in the morning? Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Okay, Big Ben out.